Two guys either side of 50 with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Missing Links Golf Show. I am Steve Hinks, joined for the 19th time by Andy Walker. Andy Walker, welcome back yet again. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hinks. How are you on this fine evening?
Mate, I'm good. I'm good. I've got to admit, I'm kind of still recovering a little bit from last week's episode, just the absolute fountain of wisdom that was showered down upon us by the great Josh Nichols,
Yes.
which we will get to in a moment to unpack a bit. But yeah, I think I feel like my eyes have been opened.
Yeah. Look, I have listened to the episode a couple of times now, so just trying to absorb and to extract as much as I possibly can out of Josh, and the advice that he gave us is, there's a lot there. I think that won't be the last time that I listen to it. It'll be a few times more that I'll have to go back and re-listen just to try and get as much as I can.
Yeah, there was a lot there. There was a lot of good chats, a lot of good thoughts, a lot of good ideas. But we'll get to that in just a moment because Andy Walker, as per normal, we do like to start the show with the voice of our listeners. It's always nice to share some feedback about what's been going on in the world of the Missing Linkses. I mean, actually, that's a good question. Our listeners, what do we call them? Are they Missing Linkses? I think we've kind of traditionally gone with that. Or are they searchers? Are they searching for the missing links?
Well, are they pilgrims for the missing links? What do you think of pilgrims? Yeah.
Hey, Pilgrim. My apologies to anyone that I may have offended by that very ordinary impersonation of, I think it was John Wayne, actually, that was from back in one of those classic Westerns. Pilgrims, I kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, we're all on a golfing pilgrimage, aren't we?
Yeah, I suppose we are. So
I mean, Josh liked that last week. He did quite enjoyed the pilgrimage.
Yeah, he did. He had no idea why we used that word, but I think he kind of went, that's actually quite cool. Pilgrims, I kind of like that. Yeah. So to all you pilgrims out there, welcome to the Missing Links Golf Show. This has taken a life of its own very early on. Yeah. I like it.
As it usually does.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Yeah. That's a fact. Speaking of pilgrims, though, the voice of the pilgrims is here. It's alive and well. So there's a story I want to share with you because this one I loved when I heard this. Over the weekend I had a phone call from a very good friend of the Missing Links Golf Show, contestant at the Missing Links Masters back in November of last year as well. And he relayed a story to me that happened recently to him. So he was he was embarking on a bit of, I think it was mountain biking actually, a bit of a cycling adventure in the Blue Mountains. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't necessarily recommend that you go out there and engage in such a dangerous pursuit. You'd hate to do an injury to affect your golf, but to those of you that enjoy a bit of mountain biking, good on you. Anyway, whilst on this adventure, he met another person, member of the group. I don't know if they knew each other that well in the lead up to it, but they got chatting, Andy Walker. They got talking about their backgrounds, their interests and all sorts of things. And the topic of golf came up. It's a pretty common sport. Well, it is.
At the end of the day, I think it's like the second or third most played sport in the country. So you would think that, if you're with another group of blokes, that at least one of them would play golf.
You'd think so. So, and this happened. So they got chatting, very good friend of the show, and other person who, for the purposes of the story, we'll call Damo, because I feel like that might have been his name.
Yeah.
Couldn't be. And apologies, Damo, if Damo is not your name. but we believe it is. So Damo found out that there was a mutual interest in golf and was saying, oh, if you're into golf, you got to check out this podcast that I've been listening to. It's these two, and this is where I got a bit upset. It's these two old blokes. Damo.
Yeah.
Now, come on, Damo. Seriously, have a look at yourself. We're not old blokes. I'm not even 50 yet, for God's sake.
Because I honestly thought that you were going to start talking about us then for a moment, but now,
well, it could be a different show. Could be a different show. But anyway, he says that there's two blokes. Maybe he said there's these two young blokes who don't sound as old as what they're saying they are.
Yeah, youngish blokes.
Yeah, and they're talking about trying to get onto the seniors tour and play some senior amateur events, and they were talking about going to Mudgee and playing in the Missing Links Masters and all this sort of stuff. And in Damo's words, fantastic show, best podcast in the history of golf podcasting.
Wow.
Okay, maybe I've embellished a little bit, but you should get on board. And he's saying you should get on board. Now, amazingly, at this point, friend of the show, Mickey Belafonte, said, well, not only do I listen to the show, but I'm mates with those blokes, and I was in Mudgee competing in the Missing Links Masters.
Nice. How'd that go down?
Well, what it did, and I like this part of the story, is it meant that Mickey actually had to confess that he was the player who was described as that his swing was verging on criminal. Anyway, Sandy Wedge had given him a touch up, but I love that story because we've come full circle. We've now got new listeners, new pilgrims, recommending the pilgrimage to existing pilgrims.
I like it. Now that's, you're getting places when you've got people who you actually don't know recommending your show to people that you do know. Now, I mean, look, and I think we've sort of covered this a few times in our pilgrimage that, we've come a lot further than what we thought we would get. I think when we started this pilgrimage, we thought maybe we'd get just a few mates and family.
This is true.
Listening to the show, but it's starting to build and get a life of its own.
Not only have we come a lot further than we thought we would, I think we've gone a lot further than we thought we would, Andy Walker. We've also got a new pilgrim, apparently, could be more than one, I don't know, who's joined the show from Hawaii.
Wow.
So aloha to all you Hawaiian pilgrims out there. It's great to have you on board.
Never been to Hawaii. That's one place I actually would like to go. My folks have been there and they said it's pretty amazing. But I've never actually got to Hawaii. It's certainly on the bucket list.
I've been to Hawaii. The year was 1990.
Wow. That's a few years back.
A couple of years ago. May have changed a bit by now. It's just a bit it was about a 48-hour stopover on the way back to Australia from a cricket tour to England. Right. That is a story for another day. But
via Hawaii?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Cheap tickets, mate. It's a school tour. Yeah, we went via the US because we're flying Continental Airlines at the time. I don't know. Are they still even flying? I'm not even sure. I haven't heard of them for a long time. It was great. We went, this is the long way to England. We flew Sydney.
For sure.
We flew Sydney to Hawaii.
Yep.
Hawaii to LA. LA to Houston. I think it was Houston.
Wow.
And then to London.
Wow.
And then on the way back, we flew London to New York to Orlando, did Orlando in Florida for a couple of days, Orlando to LA to Hawaii, and then back to Sydney.
Yeah, right. So what was the flight time then?
About 35 days.
Because I went to Japan, when was it, in year 2000, I think, and I flew Sydney to Melbourne to Kuala Lumpur, to Japan, and yeah, I thought that was almost 24 hours,
The
and I
Sydney
thought
to, the
that was
Sydney to Melbourne leg's a killer on that because you've got to fly back over your own head.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
It's
it was
outrageous.
that was pretty full on, but I think yours takes the cake.
Yeah, I mean, it was a school tour, so I think there are potentially sponsorship deals and those sorts of things at play. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
know. I was much younger at the time. Obviously, it was 1990. It's a little while ago. Anyway, we digress. We've come a long way and gone a lot further, and not necessarily in a straight line, Andy Walker. I
I
think
was
the
going to say, are you talking
story.
about this conversation or what?
I think the story of those flight paths is somewhat indicative to the narrative within our podcast.
Yeah, look, it sort of feels like my golf game at the moment as well.
Oh,
But I mean,
do we want to get there? Do we want to get there
we'll
yet?
we'll get to that point a little bit later in the show. But
Yeah.
yeah, look, I feel it's very indicative of a lot of
Mm,
pilgrimages that we're on at the moment.
mm. So that's the first piece of listener feedback, Andy Walker. 11 minutes into the show, I think we've covered that one quite nicely.
This show is just going to be listener feedback. It sounds like.
No, there will be golf here.
No?
There will be golf
Okay.
in this conversation at some point. So, speaking of golf, the next piece of listener feedback, this is what I would call a new segment, which is whistleblowing.
Right.
Okay. So, it has come to my attention via one of our pilgrims that a prestigious golf club in Sydney
Yep.
is routinely, or has been, maybe not any longer, because part of this was that it's been stopped and a lot of the members are cranky about it, but has been routinely playing significant gimmies during competition rounds.
Ooh,
Mm,
really?
yes.
Wow, that is scandalous.
Yes. And when I say significant gimmies, I'm talking not inside the leather, but I'm talking as in, that's. Do you not know that phrase?
Yeah. I do, like inside the grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
also
right.
known.
It was my reaction of how like long that would be, like it.
Oh, but it's not
inside the putter.
Yep. No, two putters. So you're talking about 7 feet.
I mean, as we've discussed previously, even PGA Tour pros
Miss them.
are only what 50-odd% from
50% from 8 foot.
Wow.
Mm. This is one of the top echelon of golf clubs in Sydney. So I'm told.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not going to name any names because we really could do without a libel lawsuit. But
yes.
Thoughts on gimmies in competition rounds, Andy Walker?
No. Is really my only thought and word for it. Just no. So, yeah, no, never, ever. You're in a competition, you putt out. Unless it's stable foot and you have a wipe and then you pick up. But
sure,
certainly, if you're scoring, no. Emphatically,
I totally agree. Now, I have heard of snippets of this type of behaviour in certain groups from time to time, right. With certain players in certain different locations. And, and as we know, we've both seen these sorts of things take place, like people will embark on dubious behaviour at times, such as marking in front of the ball and then placing the ball in front of the marker,
Look,
which we've covered.
I have seen that, yes.
Agreements within 4 balls to give gimmies, all look totally fine in a social round with your mates, even if you're playing for money with your mates, all those sorts of things. But in a competition, in a handicapping round, Andy Walker, I personally think unacceptable.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So anyway, scandal. We're not saying, obviously not saying who it was, not saying which club it was, where it was, somewhere in Sydney, somewhere that quite frankly I would have thought would know better. I'm shocked.
Mm. So it was, so the actual club knew about it.
So from secondhand information, which is why no
Yeah.
names and no aspersions are being cast,
Yeah.
it was commonplace at the club until the point that the match committee, the club president, whoever it might have been, put a stop to it and caused quite a lot of squealing from
Yeah,
members.
right.
Yep.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow. I'm a little bit shocked, I have to say.
They're out there, Andy Walker. They live among us.
Mm.
They call themselves
Yeah.
golfers, and they
Yeah,
take
look,
gimmies.
and yeah, as we mentioned, like I've seen like random, pieces of that sort of behavior, but never sort of what you're talking about, which is a sort of a systematic, this is what we do on a broad level across the club.
Yeah, so shocking. So call them out, Pilgrims. Don't stand for this sort of behaviour. We're here to uphold, not talking about being crazy about, about the way that we approach the game. But I think if you're going to play competitively, and certainly if you're going to embark on tournament play, you've got to abide by the rules of the game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
They're not that hard. So anyway, that was that piece of feedback. One last piece of feedback that came my way. I don't think this will come as a surprise. It was pretty straight to the point, and it said, "Loved the episode with Josh. What a great guy. So full of wisdom."
Yes, that's a fact.
I could not agree more. No gimmies with Josh Nichols.
No, no mental gimmies with Josh Nichols.
No soft options with Josh Nichols. No. He's a straight up individual, and was just such a great conversation last week. I think as we mentioned before, so much good knowledge and information, so much generosity to share it. This is what the guy does for a living, yet he's happily throwing out those pearls of wisdom to all of our pilgrims free of charge. So that was pretty exciting.
And we have had some communication with Josh over the past week, and every single piece of communication engagement has just been so positive, which has been really impressive, I have to say.
Yeah, super guy. Happy to support him any way we can. So I think for everyone out there, if you don't already follow him on X or Twitter, whatever it's called now, I can't get on board with X.
Yeah. Yeah, I struggle with it, but hey,
it's not a name.
It's Elon, so
I know. Anyway, if you don't follow him, get on there, follow him. You can see his golf swing too, and it's pretty classy.
I've had a bit of a look at some of his videos on X, and he has a pretty good swing. You can see why he became sort of number 2 in the world amateur golf rankings for the mid amateur, and why he reached the final of the US mid am, because he can stripe it.
Yeah, he absolutely can. So quality guy, quality golfer, quality information. I think for me, Andy Walker, 3 things that really stood out in that chat, and I'm interested in what stood out for you, but it was the importance of acceptance was a big one. It was process versus outcome thinking. Was probably the biggest one that stood out.
Yeah.
And then the conversation about how to deal with nerves and versus anxiety on the golf course. Looking at nerves as a superpower. I love that. I love that phrase. So,
for sure.
Yeah, so for me, they were kind of a few things that really stood out. How about you?
Yeah, look, those 3 things as well. They're certainly pretty big points. The one that also stood out for me, which I'd like to talk to him more about, and it was sort of towards the end where we were talking about his custom practice plan.
Oh yeah,
and that he went about his practice in a systemized way, and that he knew prior to going in and practicing at the start of the week, he would plan out his practice so that it wasn't an emotional reaction. And I think we used the example of me hitting a snap hook on 13 of, when I've done that in a comp, the next practice round going, I'm just going to go and beat drivers and try and get that out of my swing. Whereas that's quite an emotional reaction, which may not necessarily deserve that much attention. Whereas if you come back to actually a strategic approach, especially with limited time like we do, then you're going to end up with much better results. So that to me was a pretty big one. And while I haven't actually gone down the line of engaging him for the custom practice plan. That's one of my things that I'm planning on doing over the next week to 2 weeks.
I think that's a good idea. I like the sound of that. Yeah, I think that's quite smart. And I sort of look at the way my practice is not planned.
Yes.
I think there's a bit to learn there. And I would imagine all of us, so many of us would be, be in the same boat because A, you don't often know how much time you're going to have to practice, and B, how many people out there actually really have got the knowledge to be able to put a plan together that's that effective, other than, I'll go to the range and I'll, maybe work on a particular thing. If you're lucky, that's about as, that's kind of about as serious as it gets, but I'll do like that. I'd be interested to see how you go.
Yeah, I certainly think that someone with his level of expertise and with his knowledge and experience to be able to put together, it's got to be better than what I'm doing at the moment. Which I sort of go, all right, well, I've sort of got a general idea of what I want to do, but it's not really that specific and detailed. So I'm definitely keen to follow that sort of line down and see where it leads. Which, brings me to actually something else that regarding Josh that because I've actually followed him on X. And he did post yesterday, I think it was, there was, he put a post up where he'd sort of been away for the weekend and had a golf weekend away, said he loved it, and actually found a couple of keys throughout the weekend to actually get his swing back to where it was. And he said that he hadn't struck the ball that well for years. And it sort of gave him sort of some motivation, and sort of said that, it was great. And he sort of, now wants to get back in and start sort of, feels like he wants to go back and start playing competitive golf again. But then he sort of goes on to say that he doesn't actually have any plans in the foreseeable future. And I'm going to start sort of quoting his what he said. He said, "But that's simply not going to happen. I run junior golf tournaments every year as another source of income, and those are about to kick up. I'm going to the Masters, and we're doing some other family trips. None of my future plans for the next 6 months involve competitive golf. So am I supposed to be sad, like I'm mourning the death of an old friend? Or am I supposed to grow up and move on because, in fact, this isn't an old friend who just died? Maybe it's just golf. I've got a family and a business and a house and responsibilities. So how do I take away from those? Do I take away from those important things and play more golf regardless? Or do I set aside my little golf desires and do what really demands of me? I don't know the answer."
Oh, I think these are the questions that we are seeking the answers to at the moment.
I read this and I felt like I was looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like it was just I think that post was it just gives you so much to reflect on and think about as,
this is what we've been talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Both on and off the show.
So, he's an example, and we didn't cover sort of this in our
conversation last week. I feel we're going to have to get back in contact with Josh and have this conversation, because this is exactly what you and I and everybody else listening who is in our phase of life battles with all the time, which is exactly what prompted us to start the Odyssey, which is trying to find those answers of how can you still engage in that competitive outlet with all of these other responsibilities that are weighing you down and getting in the way.
Yep. Agreed.
Now
Agreed.
As you have a look at the number of rounds that we've put together over recent times, you'll see that we haven't found the answer, but I do think that just by having the attitude of looking for the answers, you start to create some space in your life for it as well, because you're putting it as a priority. I think there's a way through this for Josh, and I feel like we can help. Maybe we can repay some of what he gave so freely to us in the last episode by a conversation about this.
Yeah, I agree, because we're starting to look at our diaries and plan some events
Yeah.
over the next sort of 6 to 8 months. I mean, we've got the Macquarie Cup coming up at the end of the month, which we'll sort of get into a little bit later in the show. We're looking at a couple of other events later in the year. I think the Monmouth Open was one of those in August, and then there's a couple sort of later in the year. So yeah, I think that again, it probably comes back to that planning and having a systemized approach of putting it in the calendar, crossing everything else off your calendar on those dates, and making sure that it's there and it's blocked away.
I think it's like a lot of things, right? Like if you want to try and achieve something, whatever that might be, like it might be making a change in your life that might be to do with getting fit or, doing something else, or it might be to do with, it could be anything, like it could be learning a musical instrument. I don't know, like whatever it is that you want to do.
Yep.
You can't just wait for the opportunities to present themselves.
No.
Or the time to present itself, because that's not going to happen. I think what you have to do is you have to make the decision that you want to do it, and you've got to say it out loud, and you've got to tell the people close to you that you want to do it, because that's actually going to help it to happen.
You know what you could
you to do that.
You could actually create a podcast and actually start broadcasting what you want to do.
That's an extreme way of handling the situation. It is, but it's achieving the same thing, and what that's
it's accountability.
100%.
That's what we come back to. It's that accountability.
100%. Whereas if we had continued what we had been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, which was constantly having a conversation with each other, going, "Oh, I probably wouldn't mind, having a bit more of a crack at golf and taking it a bit more seriously." Oh, okay, no worries.
Yeah,
it's a bit tough at the moment though, because like work and family and various things, the time's kind of not right.
Yep.
Like it might be better in a few years' time. A few years' time just rolls on by, and those pressures don't go away. And this is the thing. I think this has been our life moment where we've gone. That age of 50 has been the road sign on the path where we've kind of had to go, well, it's now or never. We're going to actually do this, or we're not going to do this. And it's given us that push to go and do it.
For sure.
And I think that's where Josh is at the moment. He's got those feelings, but he doesn't have that moment, that push. He's got more time than we do too. He's a bit younger.
Yeah, he's a bit younger than us.
Yeah. So maybe we can impart some wisdom.
Couple of decades.
Yeah. Some wisdom. Yeah, but that's huge. That's really that is huge. There's a lot in that, and I think we all battle with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have the answers. We're just merely searching for the missing links.
Well, apparently Josh doesn't either.
No. We might have been asking that question a little bit longer though.
Maybe.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. Okay. Well, let's reach out to him and see if we can help.
Well, he did say that he was more than happy to do a part 2 because we didn't get through all of our list. In fact, we only got through about half of our list of items that we were going to discuss. So he did say, let's do a part 2. So let's get him back on and really sort of dive into some of this stuff. Because I felt a really good connection with him. Like it was really positive last week, but now I just read that and went, wow, like our paths really do align in a lot of ways. Yeah,
it really does. Okay, that's cool. So back to our pilgrimage, Andy Walker.
Yes.
And we are on this journey, odyssey, adventure, path, campaign, quest,
adventure.
Yes.
Migration,
kind of.
Passage.
We're on a passage. Oh, that could go in so many different directions. You've got the thesaurus out now.
That's exactly what I've done. I've got the thesaurus out and I just have a plethora of...
Nice. Yeah. Excellent word, plethora. Yes, you got a plethora of journey-related words.
Yeah. Voyage.
Yeah. I don't know that it's a voyage.
What are your thoughts of wayfaring?
Well, this was one of the ones that was thrown up by a friend of the show. Yeah, it was wayfaring odyssey, I think was the word that he'd put together.
Yeah, because it was sojourn. That was also
sojourn. Yeah. Ooh. Nice.
So Sojourn, I think was there. Jaunt, I think Jaunt was
Jaunt was,
mentioned.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
Jaunt?
definitely Jaunt, yeah.
Yeah. What about Junket? What are your thoughts on a Junket?
I love a junket. I'm all for them. More the better. But
Yeah.
I don't know that what we're doing really is a junket. I think we're a bit more serious than a junket.
I, I think there may be a few junkets along the way.
Yeah, yeah. Um, mm, Definitely some adventures.
Yeah, lots.
Oh, wow. Speaking of adventures, I want to talk about February, the month that was. We need a recap.
Yes, yes, we do.
So, a couple of things about February. Um, we each only had one competition round
Mm.
in the month of February.
Yep.
That's pretty ordinary, if I can.
Look, I mean, and what I said right at the beginning regarding my business structure and my work structure is that I do have a quiet month. I do have a really, really busy month, and I've got one that's in between. Now, February was my really, really busy month, so I think I've got a bit of an excuse. Um, whereas March is not one of my busier months. And I actually had this week I'd planned to play in the comp, but then they called the greens. So I don't really want to play in the comp
No.
just after they called the greens. So what I'm going to do is next week and the week after, I'm going to have 2 weeks in a row where I'm going to play in the comp in preparation for the Macquarie Cup at end of the month.
Yes.
So I'll have 4 competition rounds
in
before March is finished.
Yes. So there's a few topics for us to talk about, and they each overlap, one of which is the Macquarie Cup. Obviously, we're recapping February to begin with, and then the last one, or the next one, is the Missing Links Golf Show leaderboard, our one-on-one, our mano-a-mano competition for the year, which kind of all links because the number of rounds you're getting in March is certainly going to give you an opportunity to post a number. But in terms of, before we move on to that, in terms of February, so your one round in February, your handicap came down slightly by 0.1, I believe.
Yes, 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 0.1, yeah.
0.1, 4.7 to 4.6. My one round in February, my handicap came down by 0.2, 9.2 to 9.0. That's good.
Yeah.
It's about the same, really. Around the 4.5 versus 9.
Is it the same?
As a percentage, it's actually the same. So, yes, it is.
So then what's the leaderboard then for February?
Well, that's a different question altogether that you're asking, because that's about gross differential for the round. So we'll jump to that. Let's jump to that, and then we'll come back to the build-up for the Macquarie Cup. So the Missing Links Golf Show leaderboard, what we are affectionately referring to as the yearly championship. You might say, why the yearly championship? Well, the answer to that is because here's a trophy that I prepared earlier, actually about 15 years earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many years ago was it?
Yeah, you might be able to see that if you're looking at the video, but it's the Missing Links yearly championship trophy. We thought we might resurrect it for the show, become the Missing Links Golf Show yearly championship. So the go is, and bear with me on this, slightly complex, but we'll try and explain it clearly. So it's the best round of the month. Each of us, our individual best round of the month, measured as follows. Your gross differential, so in other words, your handicapping score for the round. The difference between that and your handicap index that you're playing with that round, as a percentage, not as an absolute, because we need it to be a percentage, because obviously my handicap is a little bit higher than yours. So what that means is in the month of, let's start with January actually, because January is when it started. We went back to the start of the calendar year.
Yeah, we did.
So let's go with January. And I've got the leaderboard here. Now in January, Andy Walker, you played one round.
Yes.
And in your one round, you had a gross differential of 8.9 against a handicap index of 4.7.
Mm.
which is a difference of 4.2, and that equates to minus 89%.
Yeah. It's a quality score.
It's probably not going to be enough.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. No, knowing your performance in January.
So I had 4 rounds in January.
Mm.
My best round, which is the one that counts, had a gross differential of 8.2 against a handicap index on the day of 9.9, which was a positive differential of 1.7 and therefore a differential percentage of 17%. It's worth noting that my other 3 rounds were minus 19%, minus 66%, minus 39%. So they all beat your round for that month.
Yeah. So your worst round beat my only round.
Only round. Or best round, we can call it.
Yeah. Or worst round.
Yes. But only 1 round counts, so it doesn't really matter, okay? So
exactly.
So I take the 3 points for January because you get 3 points for the win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss, and minus 1 point for failing to register a round in the month. So 3 points. So I'm up 3 points in January. In February, we both registered.
I feel well and truly hosed from January.
Yeah, you were. In February, we both played 1 round, 1 competition round. Andy Walker, gross differential of 4.9 against a handicap index of 4.7 for the day, which is minus 0.2. Net differential, which is a percentage of minus 4%. So that's close.
Mm.
My only round, also known as my best round, also known as my worst round.
The worst round.
Gross differential of 11.1 against a handicap index of 9.2, which is minus 1.9, which is on a percentage minus 21%, which means February goes to Andy Walker.
Mm.
Congratulations.
Nice. Thank you.
Disappointing.
So it's even Stevens after 2 months.
Well, I'm glad you raised that because there is a bonus. There is a bonus point, 4 bonus points up for grabs.
I don't recall talking about a bonus point in our last committee meeting.
I think you'll like it. So the provisional rule is that there is 4 bonus points up for grabs.
Yep.
Not 4 individual bonus points, just 1 allocation of 4 bonus points. A bit like hitting a boundary, Andy Walker.
Yep.
And the way that you get those 4 bonus points is by registering the best round of the year.
Ooh, okay. So that means I've got to register at this stage more than 17%.
Yep.
Okay, that's pressure.
I'm going to put it out there right now. 17% will not win the bonus points.
Right. Okay. Yep.
All right. There will be a better round of golf this year. In fact, I'm going to say this: 17% will not be my best, and it will not be your best. Okay. We will both beat it.
I'm going to have to go back over my rounds for the last 12 months and just try and work that out to see what my best was over the last 12 months to see if I have any hope at all of getting close to that.
I mean, we could retrospectively do last year's yearly championship, but I think you're going to have a lot of minus ones on there because there was plenty of months that you didn't get around in. But it's, I think this is an excellent competition. So thank you very much to whichever one of our pilgrims it was that suggested that we needed a competitive edge on the Missing Links Golf Show. We've got it now. It is the yearly championship, currently locked head-to-head at 3 points apiece, 2 months in.
Nice. I like it.
March is going to be interesting. Andy Walker, you're playing a lot of golf in March.
Yeah, but am I playing good golf in March? That's the question.
You might be playing a lot of rounds, and within each round, you might be playing a lot of golf.
Yes, that's sort of how it feels at the moment.
Oh, do you want to go there? Is that what you want to talk about?
Well,
I think
I mean,
it's probably not a bad place to go.
Yeah, look, I'm struggling at the moment. I have to admit I'm trying to implement these swing changes that we've been talking about now for the last few months. And look, we had a brief chat about it before we jumped on air, and I did make the comment that I think that you've got quite a big advantage in this area because my poor swing habits, my bad habits have been grooved in over thousands and thousands of golf balls, number of years ago, number of decades ago now,
Mm,
but they're still there. And I am really struggling to get out of those bad habits. So, A, making a big full shoulder turn rather than lifting.
mm.
B, quietening my hips down rather than sort of collapsing my left side. And I feel as though when I focus on one, the other one just goes out the window. And then I
Of
focus
course.
on that one, and then the other one goes out the window. So yeah, I'm really struggling with it. And I went out on Saturday and played 9 holes, just hit it so badly. Like it was just appallingly bad. I stood on the first tee, and I actually hit it all right in the practice net, as you do,
Mm.
when I was warming up, and I stood on the first tee, and I reckon I hit my driver, I don't know, 60 meters wide, and it
Oh,
went right. It wasn't my hook; it went right. It was such a long way right. It was, yeah, and I just looked at it and went, yeah, no, not going to get that back, and went to the bag and pulled out another ball.
I was going to say, because
Um,
your home course, you can't spray it around like that.
No, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
Even if you hit it in some areas, sort of 10 to 15 meters,
You're dead. Yeah.
you're dead. Yeah, yeah. So it's a bit of a tough track, and it's a tough driving track. It was
Yeah.
there is a lot of trouble off
Yeah.
the tee, so you've got to drive it well. So I'm struggling a little bit. So I feel as though my swing changes are I'm just going to have to be patient, and it's a long
It's not your
term
strength.
proposition. What's not my strength? My
Patience.
swing. Oh, pain. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Yeah, I've never been accused of having a lot of patience.
Yeah.
But I feel as though this could be the golfing gods just testing me, going,
Oh.
Andy, you need to learn this stuff.
Well, you do.
So
It's a
I'm
fair
I'm sort of
point.
thinking that a fair bit of my practice, well, not a fair bit, but a reasonable percentage of my practice needs to be devoted to short game, just so I can put some decent scores on the board. Sort of like what I did in February. I mean, I did
Yep.
say I hit it really poorly, and it was my inside 100 meters that really saved me. So I think this is probably going to be the theme of what I'm going to be dealing with and having to go out in the golf course with for the next, maybe 3, 4, 5 months. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time, I think, to be able to undo
Mm,
the years and thousands of practice balls that I've hit with this current bad technique.
mm. That is a bombshell.
Yeah. Yeah.
An absolute bombshell. We are now, what are we, 3 or 4 weeks away from our first major head-to-head tournament for the
Mm.
year, the Macquarie Cup,
Yep.
which is being played on the Easter weekend. And in this period of time, you are having a crisis of confidence with your golf swing.
Yeah.
This is problematic, to say the least.
Mm. Mm. At least I feel as though heading out to the Macquarie Cup and playing Dubbo, it's not as deadly. You don't there is sort of some room for error in that there's not as much trouble as what there is on my home course. So I sort of felt sort of similar with Mudgee in that I I still hit a lot of hooks in
Mm,
Mudgee, but I was able to go and find my ball, right?
mm,
Which is
mm,
sort of
mm,
similar at Dubbo
mm.
in that I'll be able to, majority of the time, not always, there is still enough trouble at Dubbo, but I feel as though I'll be able to go and find the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, generally speaking, you'll be, say in a tree line rather than in a hazard.
Yeah.
There's only a few holes where the hazard will come into play for that. So it might cost you a shot rather than two shots. And you never
Yes.
know. Every now and then you can get lucky and bounce back out. But, yeah, I think, though, the concern is not that long ago, we were both sitting here saying that confidence levels were the highest that they'd ever been.
Mm.
And you've just come crashing down to earth mentally.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's not mentally. I don't feel like I've crashed mentally. I feel like my golf swing is it's going to be up and down. And don't get me wrong, I think there's going to be times where I go out and probably hit it quite well. But I also think that it's going to take a lot more time than what I initially thought. I thought maybe I could, with the addition of the high performance center, I'd be able to get out there and in the garage and be able to groove these swing changes, not relatively quickly, but certainly within a couple of months. But now it seems as though it's going to be a longer term goal, a longer term sort of pilgrimage than what I initially thought.
Oh, see, my worry, we talked about this a little bit the other day. Are we starting to go down the path of playing golf swing rather than playing golf? Now, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't be embarking on these changes because, obviously they're being recommended by a professional, so who knows a lot more about the golf swing than what I do. But at the same time, I know I have been guilty of doing a lot of video work in the high performance center, almost obsessively.
Yep.
And trying to tweak and change and get a different feel, adjust the swing plane and all those sorts
would you have been using the previously mentioned app for those swing changes?
From time to time.
See, this is where I feel as though you and I, there's a fair differential between you and I, is that I'm seeking professional help.
I think I need professional help and not necessarily for the golf swing.
So, this is where I feel as though like there's a gap between what you're doing and what I'm doing, because I'm not, yes, I have used the AI app, but it's not anything serious. I'm not using that to actually make swing changes.
No, I'm not doing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing that. I am attempting to address the things that Scotty has provided to me as feedback. To be honest, I feel like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or three steps back at times with that sort of thing. But what I have been guilty of is then going, that I feel like that's good, like that, that's kind of clicking, and certainly the strike is so much better. And look at the video because I'm trying to have a look at, am I doing the things that he's talking about, and look at the video and go, yeah, that looks good. I'll just, out of interest, plug it into the app and see what the app says, and it goes 4.3 out of 10. And you're doing this, and this wrong. And I feel really deflated now.
And that leads to brain explosion. Like, I'm all for taking video of yourself. Go and see a professional coach, get some professional help, and let them lead you down any swing changes that you need to make. And then I'm all for just straight video. And maybe I know there's a couple of apps out there that also allow you to put lines and the like on the video. And I'm all for that if that is part of some of the adjustments that you need to make. But actually going down the line, and this is where I have the issue with the app, going down the line of actually videoing your swing through the app and letting it tell you what swing changes you need to make, I just struggle with that.
My problem is the gamification element that it brings to it, because you put a swing down and then you can get a score, and then you start chasing the score rather than actually doing something constructive. So I do need to back away from the AI app. It's probably not doing me any favors. But at the same time, I'm trying to let go a bit of, am I getting in the right shapes and am I doing, these technical moves and that sort of stuff right, and focusing on, am I flushing it? And you can feel the difference when you're really hitting it well into the net. And I feel like my ball striking quality now versus what it was, say, 2 months ago is head, shoulders and torso above where it was.
It's interesting because I've also found using just a net and not actually being able to see the ball and the ball flight.
Yeah.
My awareness of what I'm doing in my golf swing has just gone to another level. And I swing it and I know where the ball's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I'm very visual, as a lot of people are. And I see the end result, whether it be on the practice fair or the golf course, and that's the end result. I haven't really felt too much through. I've got a bit of an idea, but I don't have that, intimate feeling of what's happened through my golf swing. Whereas now I feel as though I know my golf swing a lot more over the last sort of couple of months of not being able to see the ball flight, which is a pretty interesting,
counterintuitive to a degree, but I get what you mean. I think to that point, one thing that I will start to do and I need to start to do is to stop doing the videoing and AI assessing of the swings, but I might get out the old launch monitor once again, connect to the iPad. So then I've got the feel of the swing and the launch numbers to back that up, and
and that to me is such a better engagement.
Much better, I think.
Much better engagement than trying to do it through an AI app.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's the path forward, because then I'll be able to see actually is what I'm doing adding distance, adding accuracy, changing ball flight, etc., swing path. It's all measured. Maybe that's the go.
Yeah.
That's good.
So look, I sort of feel as though, there's a number of things that I'm looking at in my swing. Continuing, just about to see sort of my coach again, which I haven't seen Joe since November. Whereas I've got a coaching session this week, so I'm really looking forward to getting back and having a really good conversation with her. I've made a couple of changes to my grip.
Ooh.
Quite interestingly, I've always used the interlocking grip. But after reading one of Ben Hogan's chapters, his 5 lessons on the grip, I've actually changed over to an overlapping grip, which I'm finding to be really, really good. I mean, I've always, and I think sort of growing up, Jack Nicklaus used the interlocking grip, and I wanted to be like Jack Nicklaus. So I used the interlocking grip.
You went down that path. Tiger Woods also.
Yeah. So same as hitting a fade. Why I wanted to hit a fade, because Jack Nicklaus hit a fade. Now, having come back and looking at golf from a different perspective and just trying to improve myself and not having anything to sort of compare myself to as such, and just trying to improve for the sake of improvement. This and I must admit, I'm really enjoying the Hogan book. I haven't read all of it. I'm still probably maybe halfway through it, but the grip and his viewpoint on the grip, in that you've got your left hand, which is the top of the grip sits under that palm bit of the top of your hand, and then in your right hand it's all about the fingers, and it's more of a finger grip with your right hand rather than being in the palm of your hand. I'm finding it really, really, really good. It's a little bit of I'm finding that I've got a bit more control. I'm feeling as though, I mean, I've always been left hand dominant with my swing, and it's just feeling, the left hand's just feeling a lot stronger, and like I've got a lot more control with it. So yeah, it's a bit more stable.
I totally agree. I made that change maybe 18 months ago.
Yeah. And I remember us talking about it, me just going, no, never going to change.
Well, what was interesting, I went through a period of time where I was using 3 different grips in a round, in a hole,
Wow.
actually in a hole, in each hole.
Okay. Yep.
Because historically I'd been interlocking grip, same as you, for all the same reasons, but it was probably more to do with Tiger Woods than it was Jack Nicholas coming to the game a little bit later. So interlocking grip. And then I thought, no, I want to muck around with the overlapping grip. But I didn't do that with my driver. I kept the interlocking grip with my driver.
Wow. Okay.
Just because it was freaking me out to change everything all at once. So I kept the interlocking grip with the driver. I think I tried the overlapping grip once and hit it poorly, so I went, I don't want to make that change. So I stayed with the interlocking grip for driver. Now, full disclosure, that hitting it poorly had nothing to do with the grip at that point in time. I think actually at that time I was probably playing off about 16 or 17 anyway.
Yeah.
Then overlapping grip for irons, and then I was putting to try and get it feeling more like I was rolling the ball, underarm with the bottom hand. I was using a baseball grip with the putter, a full 10-finger grip on the putter.
Okay.
Don't do it. If you think about it, don't do it. It's not a good grip.
No.
So that lasted for a little while, and then things slowly changed. Then the driver ended up going to overlapping grip. And I agree. I think you get so much more top hand control because with interlocking grip, your index finger is coming off of your top hand, is coming off the handle.
Yep.
That's got to be one of the most important fingers in the golf grip, I would have thought. So to take that off the handle, it's a bit strange, but a lot of people do it. So anyway, I made that change and then ended up with the putter going to the reverse overlap. So instead of the bottom hand pinky overlapping onto the top hand, it was the other way around, where the bottom hand is fully on the grip and the index finger of the top hand overlaps the pinky.
Yep.
Yeah. And that I think I'm done now with grip changes. Like that's it. I've tried everyone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tried everyone out there.
Yeah, look, it's been an interesting journey, and as I said, I think that there's a lot to be learned from what Ben Hogan is saying and what he does. I mean, I think I said a couple of weeks back that he was well ahead of his time. So I don't think there's sort of too much harm in mimicking some of the things that he did in his golf swing.
You also pointed out when we were talking previously that he, along with Lee Trevino, was it, that was talking about pushing the hands forward in the stance to be more in line with the impact position.
No, Jack Nicholas.
But the original video, wasn't that Lee Trevino?
Oh, the original video, yes, was Lee Trevino. Yes, for sure. Yep.
I've been mucking around with that since that. I actually really like that. And I didn't realise it, but I kind of naturally drift towards that anyway, of getting closer to impact.
If you have a look at a lot of the PGA Tour pros, it is basically from their lead shoulder all the way down to the club head. It's basically
pretty
one
straight
line.
Yeah.
So they're looking to be at address at their impact position.
Yeah.
So that they're not having to manipulate their hands through their golf swing to get in a different position to what they were at address. And that was the point that Lee Trevino was making in that video, is that he was saying he had his hands behind the ball a little bit and said, why would you start here? This is where a lot of amateurs start. And then he pushed his hands forward and said, this is where you are at impact. And he showed, at impact, this is where you are. Why wouldn't you start there? And logically, it makes so much sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So an hour in, we've got to a couple of decent tips. Nice work. Nice work.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging in there, Pilgrims.
So look, there's for the rest of the month, just to wrap up sort of where I'm at. My main thing is working on short game while my swing is where it is. Still working on the stack, working on my fitness. I've actually lost a couple of kilos, which
nice.
I'm pretty happy about. And then stretching, I'm going to start focusing on stretching and getting some flexibility in my back and my hips, which is where I think some of the issues are with making a full shoulder turn and restricting my hip movement. So they're my main keys throughout the next month.
Yes, they are good. The hips don't lie.
No, they don't.
Yeah. No, very good.
So what about yourself, Mr. Hinks? Do you plan on playing in many comp rounds?
So I'm taking a different approach this month.
Here we go.
I'm taking a different approach. So I will be playing around this weekend. On Sunday. Yep. Not on Saturday. Can't really play both days of the weekend. It's not conducive to good family time. So I'll be playing Sunday this weekend. I'm actually going to play in the Pro-Am for the New South Wales Women's Open Regional Qualifier. Oh, yeah. It's being held out this way in the Central West. So I think that will be good, and that will actually give a bit of exposure to some high-quality golfers, hoping to learn a thing or two from whoever we get matched up with in that round. So that'll be good. My other focus for the month then is going to be on a few midweek 9-hole tune-up rounds, because what I'm actually doing, I'm really taking to heart the advice from Dave McClelland that we got back in episode 4. Yep. When he recommended a very heavy taper before a major tournament. So I'm tapering from now.
For a month?
Yep.
Good one. Good one.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
So is there any particular reason why you're decided not to play really? Because the Pro-Am isn't a comp round, is it?
No, it's not. It's Texas Scramble, so won't be putting in an individual card for that one.
No. So any particular reason why you're not playing an actual comp round until the Macquarie Cup?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So are you a gambling man, Andy Walker?
No, not a monetary gambling man. I think that I've taken a few gambles on a golf course and maybe in other areas of my life, but certainly not a monetary gambling man.
Yeah, I'm not a gambler either. It's fine if that's your thing. No judgment. I'm not, and in this particular situation, that's kind of what it comes down to, because sitting on 9.0, qualification into the Macquarie Cup being single digits, I've got a flag round dropping out next round. So let's just say if I don't play a comp round between now and then, I qualify. If I do play a comp round and I play well, obviously I still qualify. If I do play a comp round and I don't play well, I run the very real risk of not qualifying for the tournament. Is one comp round, because I won't have the time to get 2 in, is one comp round worth the risk of not qualifying for the tournament?
I don't know. I mean, that's a question that only you can answer when you're looking in the mirror, and whether you want to actually have some positivity and, have a sort of proactive, go mentality, or whether you want to, shirk into the corner and hide from, the realities of it.
All depends on how you look at it. You can attempt to goad me into non-qualification, or I can save my brilliance for round 1 of the Macquarie Cup. And I think that's the sensible play at this point in time.
Yeah. I mean, it is ultra conservative.
Yep, it is. I'm just aiming at the middle of the green. John Sherman-esque. He'd be very proud from 4 Foundations of Golf. So I think that's the go. Yep. Bird in the hand, 2 in the bush. Actually, the bird in the hand, probably look for a place to release it, because that's where it should go to. And then 3 in the bush, none in the hand would actually be a better option. But that's that's a whole nother topic. But I think I will focus on preparation for the tournament rather than risking my qualification. Andy Walker, I think that's the smart play.
Yeah. Look, I just think it's very negative.
I know you do.
That's all I can say.
I know you do. This is coming from the guy that's played 2 comp rounds this calendar year.
Yeah, that's all my busy schedule has allowed me to do.
Yeah,
But
here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
at least I'm having a crack. Like,
This month,
you know.
yeah. Don't worry about the other two leading up to it. But that's fine. And look, time will tell whether or not this has been a smart decision, because I may well go out in round one of the Macquarie Cup, shoot lights out, drop the handicap even further, and it would have been nothing to worry about. And let's be honest, that's highly likely.
That's assuming that what you shoot in the Macquarie Cup is the equivalent of what you would have shot in a comp round between now and then.
Well, this is the thing. There's many variables, Andy Walker.
There are
many variables, and why risk it? So that's
look, and I actually disagree, because I don't think that's highly likely, because it just seems that you've lost the ability to back yourself.
Oh no, I think you're reading it wrong. I think you're reading it completely wrong.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will see. I am not going through the crisis of confidence that you seem to be going through. Merely making a sensible course management style decision on the build-up, and, heavily influenced by the great David McClelland, who really reinforced the point about taper. I believe his words were taper, taper, taper.
3 times, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not convinced that he was talking about tapering over a month.
I think he was.
And I certainly don't think he was talking about, being negative and, not backing yourself.
I think this is a lens you're putting on it. This is not what it's about. This is about grasping the opportunity that's in front, and not recklessly risking that. I don't see this as negative at all. I think this is very positive. Extremely positive.
Well, you can have your perspective, and, we'll see where that gets you.
Into the Macquarie Cup is where it will get me.
Yes. Yeah. It seems very much as though you know how you get these guys that, like, they pull up because they don't want to affect their handicap. They get to sort of 13, 14.
It's the other way around.
And all of a sudden they're having a good round, and they're like, oh no, I need to protect my handicap, and
it's completely the other way around to that. If I was trying to blow out the handicap, then I'd be playing. I'd absolutely be playing, and I'd be tanking the round, knowing that I've got a flag round coming out. So it's 100% the opposite of what you're talking about, Andy Walker. Yeah. You're on shaky ground on this one. You're not correct at all.
No, I'd like to see what our Pilgrims think of this, and maybe I think maybe a Twitter poll. What an X poll? It's not an X poll.
Yeah,
an X, formerly known as Twitter.
Look,
poll.
Ask the question. I'm open to feedback, but it's not going to change my preparation for the Macquarie Cup. And
there you go.
History.
Is that called obstinate?
Oh, it probably is. I mean, I think we've established through the course of the show that I do, sort of have a bit of a stubborn streak when it comes to following an instruction given by someone else.
Yeah.
i.e. authority. So, yeah, could be obstinate, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, it's coming up, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the month. It is exciting. It's our first genuine tournament to get stuck into. Obviously the Missing Links Masters was a lot of fun, but as has been rightly pointed out, it was about 6 people. This will be a full field. There'll be nowhere to hide. Tournament conditions, long rough, fast round, greens, stroke play, everything on the line. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. 2 days as well. It's going to be
a lot of fun.
Backing up Saturday and Sunday. Be a lot of fun. There's got to be something on the line for just the head-to-head contest, I think, on this one as well. We've got to think about that.
All right. Let's give it some thought. If anyone's got any ideas, maybe sort of post it in the feedback, and let us know what you think.
Let us know. Now, Andy Walker, there is only one other thing that I wanted to cover this evening before we rock out to a bit of Alex Grohl. And that is the segment that we all love, which is the Missing Links Golf Show Player of the Week. Former winner, Ted Walker, for his even par round a few episodes ago.
Inaugural winner.
I haven't done it every episode because
No.
we've had guests and various things, but I think we've got a contender for this week for Missing Links Golf Show Player of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to nominate that it goes to Aussie pro golfer Hannah Green for her victory in Singapore, in particular, birdieing 16, 17 and 18 to win by a shot.
Yeah, and while I didn't actually watch it, I did watch a couple of highlights, and that putt on the last, that was
unbelievable.
Yeah, like that was a snake. Like that was across the green and had to have been, what, 30, 35, maybe even longer feet?
It was crazy. Yeah. So she played out of her skin on the closing holes. And
even her playing partner was cheering.
Yes,
like,
I know.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the opposite of a diamond is. Maybe it's a Hannah or a green.
Yeah, it could be a green. I like a green.
Maybe it's a green. Yeah, you pulled a green over the closing holes. Great effort, super effort.
Yeah.
Really, really happy to see that happen. And congratulations, Hannah Green, on behalf of the Missing Links Golf Show. Player of the Week. We'll maybe throw something out in a tweet on X congratulating her for winning the Player of the Week award. I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
It'll be the highlight of a week, I'm sure.
I think so. Do
you think she could maybe come on the show and we could present her with an award or something?
If there's one thing that we've learned is that it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yes, we've gone about this pilgrimage in that mindset of if you don't ask,
you don't get.
You're not.
So yeah, sure. We'll throw that out. Congratulations, Hannah, winner of Missing Links Golf Show Player of the Week. Here's your invite to come on the show.
Yeah,
stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Could be next episode.
How good would that be? Would love to chat to Hannah Green. I actually watched her play in the Aussie Open when I went to watch that at the Australian, and yeah, she smokes it. Like, she has a great swing and very quality golfer. Very solid.
Seems like a good person as well, so we wish her the best.
Seems lovely.
Yeah, so that's excellent. And Andy Walker, I think that's about it. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up for the evening?
No, that's that covers pretty much all. I mean, we've been going a little while. I'm going down a couple of tangents. But,
that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a great chat, and looking forward to the next month.
As am I. As we always say, thank you very much for listening. You can join the conversation in a bit more depth if you want to connect via our social channels. Of course, we've got the Missing Links Golf Show on Facebook. We are, I think it's Missing Links Golf on Instagram. We are now also on X, or
formerly known as Twitter.
Yep, the platform formerly known as Twitter. You will find us there at TML Golf Show. TML stands for the Missing Links, Andy Walker, in case you were curious.
Hadn't worked that out, but thank you for clarifying.
So you'll find us there. Probably just type our name into the whole search bar and we'll come up. I don't think there's too many other Missing Links golf shows floating around. If there are, we're going to sue them anyway. And jump on, follow, make some comments, check it out, leave a review if you get the chance. Jump on whatever your podcasting platform of choice is. Leave a review, maybe the bit that you enjoyed the most about the show, your opinion of Andy Walker's psychological crisis, your support for my strategy leading into the Macquarie Cup. Any of those sorts of things would, I have no doubt, be welcomed by both of us.
Yes.
Andy Walker, have a fantastic week.
Rock out, Pilgrims.